I just thought I'd start this video while the van is warming up. So hi, I'm Amber. Today I'm going to be making a table for my RV camper van. There are people about. And I was going to rent an electric jigsaw to cut the table, but it would have cost £24 for the day, and I was like, well, I might as well just buy one if it's 27 quid to get one from Screwfix. So we're on the way to Screwfix. Let's go. So I'd never actually made anything like this before, let alone a cloud-shaped dining table. It's a bit of a weird one, especially as a first woodworking kind of project. But I had a piece of 18mm MDF that I bought from B&Q. I wanted something quite thick and sturdy because this is going to be the main and only table in the van. And so you can see here I sketched out the cloud design, but then as you can see here I had to make it smaller because it needs to fit in the little table storage slot in my van behind the driving and passenger seats. You'll see at the end where that gets put when it's not in use. But it had to fit in there, so I actually had to make it a bit smaller than planned. And then here you can see me using an electric jigsaw for the first time. I may have used one in high school, but I don't remember. I was literally just learning as I went, learning on the job. I had no idea what I was doing, but it was a lot of fun. I was having a great time figuring it all out. One thing I've really, really, really learnt is don't cut MDF in the living room. So next time I do a project like this, I'm gonna do it outside. The amount of dust, it was crazy. I was wearing a mask and I had the door open to get nice airflow because I know you're not supposed to breathe in when you cut MDF wood. I know my cat's sitting right there, but there's no point in trying to get her out of the room. She will find her way back in, especially if I had the door open anyway. But next time I'm going to be a lot more careful and cut it outside, but I don't know how many more woodworking projects I have planned right now anyway. But yeah, it made a big dusty mess, as you will see in a minute. And then here I'm starting to sand the edges. I wanted it to be really nice and smooth, and I also kind of sanded so that it wasn't just a flat, harsh edge. I kind of rounded off the edges of the table a little bit, just because I know I will bump my elbow or something on this table, and I don't want there to be really harsh, sharp edges. So you can see I'm not just sanding around it, but also rounding off the edge. And then, once all of this was done, the amount of dust on the floor was gross. It looked like sand. And then these screws on the original table were kind of stuck in there. I had to do it by hand to get them out, but I got them all out and took off all of the hardware on the original table, ready to put it back onto the new one. But before I could do any of that, of course, I wanted to get it all painted up. So here is the beautiful colour I've chosen. It's a gorgeous shade of blue that goes perfectly with the interior of my van. Quick lunch break, of course. Always up for some pesto pasta. And then I got back to painting the table. So I think this is just after the first layer, so it looks real patchy. And then starting off that second layer of paint to make it look nice and smooth. We've had a small disaster, and yes, I'm in pyjamas. I didn't want to get paint on my nice clothes. Luckily, I don't think I've got any paint on my pyjamas, so that's alright. Ooh, mirror. But yeah, this tin of gloss, or varnish, I don't know what you call it, but that's meant to be full. I could not get the lid off. This came off real nice and easy. This, I was prying at it, it would not come off. And eventually I got it off. It tipped over a little bit. I was like, cleaned it all up. And then I tipped it, everywhere. I've cleaned it up completely, but nightmare. At least it's clear. I painted the bottom of the table because you're going to be able to see it when it's not in use, so I just went over it with a couple layers. And now I'm attaching all of the hardware onto the wood. So now that the bottom of the table was painted, I could add on all of the hardware to the bottom. So this is just the main piece that holds the central table leg when you want to use the table in the van. And then there are 4 little corner pieces, so you can attach little corner legs so you can take the van outside and it doesn't have to be attached into a floor. So I attached all of those to the bottom of the table. I was using all the screws that just originally came with the old table. Some of them went into the wood quite easily, the ones on the big round central piece, but then the ones on the corners I did have to drill little guide holes just to get them into the wood. I made sure to add lots and lots of layers of clear varnish because I don't want this to get destroyed straight away, and it is going to be moved around and bumped into and things, so I wanted to make sure that that paint really holds up against time. And here's the final product. So I'm just putting it up in the van so you can see it in context of my adorable van. I think the cloud goes really nicely with like the stars and moon kind of like sky theme inside of my van. I couldn't get the table on at first, but there we go. Doesn't it just look absolutely adorable? It's so me, so much cuter than the table that was in there originally. And I am just obsessed with how this turned out, and I'm really proud of myself. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!